With today's households full of electronic devices, most of which don't come with adapters anymore, you're stuck with a USB and nowhere to plug it when you can't find that adapter. But maybe you just need a little bit of faith. Faith Electronics introduces a 15 amp tamper-resistant outlet that also includes a 4.6 amp USB charger. Opening the box, we see that we get two receptacles, and what's kind of impressive is that not only do they include the plates for the receptacles, but they've made full use of the size of this box, so there's not wasted packaging. So first off, my hat's off to them for actually packaging a product correctly, where they minimize the use of packing material and thus help the environment. So we get two wall plates, some instructions, two units, and these can be attached either via side terminals, or push-in connectors. And they're labeled hot and white being the neutral, and it even includes a ground terminal. The Faith receptacles on the back, well, they look like push-ins, aren't. Now, this isn't one of the receptacles that we took out. I just want to show you the difference. I'm going to insert this wire here, and it's a push-in connection, which means that once this wire's in, it's not coming out until I stick something in the release mechanism to free it, and that's without having to tighten down any screws. Whereas in the Faith system, it's a hole and there's a clamp that you have to tighten down. If the clamp, let's say it's on this terminal, the clamp is on this side. If you insert the wire and the clamp's on this side, you'll be able to tighten the screw and the wire will come right out. So you have to be careful with that. You got to make sure that when you insert the wire, that the clamp mechanism is on the opposite side, so that when you tighten the screw, it squeezes the conductor into place so that it doesn't come out. But maybe it's a patent issue, but this is the way to do push-in connectors, and it's so much easier to work with because you know you made a secure connection without having to deal with screws. Features on this unit: tamper-resistant receptacles so that they're safer. If you have kids around the house and they accidentally stick something in there, they're less likely to get injured or killed. You also have a status light that comes on when the unit is functioning, and you have two USBs, one horizontal, one vertical. So depending if you have a plug in here, you may be able to use one versus the other, or if you mount the unit horizontally, then that's a little bit more convenient than this, but either way, it gives you some flexibility with the unit. Here's a comparison between the Duplex receptacle in most homes and what you're going to be putting in its place. And as we can see, this unit is almost twice as deep. So depending on how crowded that box is, this could be a problem. In going over the instructions, one thing does concern me, and that's the fact that there is only one terminal for the hot and the neutral. And if you have wires that are passing through the box going to another outlet, then this is not the solution that you want, because you'd need another pair of screws. You don't want to double up on the wires, because that would be against code and just plain dangerous. And while you may be able to use the clamp-on connection to pass the wires through, if you're trying to use the side terminals, you're just limited to this being used at the end of a run where this is the last outlet. Before we can install this USB receptacle, I needed to remove the wall plate and the little energy-saving foam, pull out, by the way, it's a dead circuit. I pulled the circuit breaker on it. Pulled away to see how this is wired up, and I see that there is one load, one neutral. So this is indeed the end of the run. There are other outlets upstream of this, but this is the end of the run, which means that because this only has one neutral and one load terminal, this will work just fine. If you find that they wired in by using the push connectors, one easy way to get them to release is to get a Leatherman squirt, and it just happens to fit exactly into the release mechanism. Then your wire will pop out. Since the wires were pushed in, they're straight, so I'll need to put a loop on each one. And remember, the loop is going to go clockwise, just like the screw, so that when you turn clockwise with the screw, you're tightening the wire and not making it get loose. After putting loops in the wire, I hook up the ground first. Then I will do the neutral, which is the silver looking button, and then the load side. One issue with this is the fact that this space is very tight, and the screw, when you unfasten it, doesn't actually come out. It just gets loose on the inside. So you have to sort of tilt it over to let gravity pull the screw out so that you can get the wire in. But this huge chunk of plastic on both ends kind of limits your movement. So poor design. This should have been opened up a little bit more to allow the wiring to be easier. Same issue on the load side. Plastic is too close to the terminal screw, so that your loop really has to be very shallow just so that you can try to get the wire around the terminal. Of course, if you pull the screw out, it's clamped on the other side, so I'm afraid that that whole thing will fall apart. Again, not a very well designed terminal. After a fair amount of struggle, I was finally able to get enough wire in there so at least I could get a loop. I don't want to come in just straight with this. I really want it to be secure. And that's a problem I'm having. You can see I actually chewed up a bit of the plastic here. Not thrilled with this product. Okay, so now we've secured our wires. So I need to fold them up and down. And there's a piece of metal here, so I'm hoping the depth of this box just makes it there and doesn't try to go any further. Otherwise, we're going to have to put in a new box. Once the receptacle is pushed in, you can put in your two mounting screws. Then we're going to do our wall plate, use the two screws that are included with that, and then we'll be able to energize the circuit. Okay, flip the switch. Once the circuit is energized, you should see a green tally light that lets you know that this outlet is functional. So let's get a USB, plug it in, and sure enough, that phone is working. Let's try it over here, and the phone is working. So now we have the ability to plug in two 110 devices and either a vertical or horizontal USB or both. While I'm happy the installation was successful, I'm not too thrilled with the process. I think this could be designed better with those terminals. One, so that you can do pass-through connections and not have to just hope that your receptacle is at the end of a run. And two, those terminals just need to be given more space so that you can make the connection properly. So for that reason, I can't recommend this as much as I like the convenience of having two USB ports in a receptacle outlet. This is the kind of thing that you want to install correctly to avoid problems down the road. And I feel that there are other products that are better designed, better engineered, and while they may cost more, I can't say that this is the one I would recommend you to get. If you found this video interesting or useful, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, join the subscription team, and as always, thank you ever so much for watching.